Do you love traveling? That feeling, the anticipation of a new adventure, maybe a new place?
Oh, absolutely. New experiences,
Yeah. Well, navigating the airport, sometimes that feels like an adventure all by itself.
especially in a different language. Yeah.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into the whole airport experience in English.
Sounds useful.
Our mission really is to pull out the most important stuff. We want to give you a shortcut basically to being really well informed about the whole process,
Yeah.
from booking all the way to arrival.
With all the practical bits and maybe some surprising facts, too.
That's the plan. All the details you actually need.
Great.
Hmm,
And we're going to break this journey down sort of piece by piece, make it easy to follow.
good idea.
We'll hit the common words, the situations you'll likely run into, not just defining terms, but showing how they fit.
Right, the context.
Understanding how it all works. It can genuinely make your trip less stressful, maybe even, well, more enjoyable.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So the airport journey, it actually starts way before you even get near the terminal.
Mm-hmm. Back at home planning.
It starts obviously with booking your ticket, and the first word you'll probably see is departure.
Right. Departure.
It just means, leaving. It's your go date, the day you plan to head off.
So when you book, that's what you choose first, the departure date.
Exactly. And once you've got that date locked in, you'll see there are different kinds of flights.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You might be looking at a domestic flight,
Domestic, meaning
just flying inside your own country.
like,
Like if you're in Italy, maybe Rome to Milan, no borders. Simple.
gotcha.
Then you have international flights, or sometimes they call them overseas flights.
Okay, so crossing borders.
Right.
Yeah.
Going to another country, maybe even a whole different continent.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, I think, for longer trips. Sometimes you can't just fly straight there.
True. No direct flights sometimes.
That's when you get a connecting flight or a transit flight.
Yep. Means you fly to one city first,
Mm.
an intermediate one,
Uh-huh.
and then you catch a second plane from there to get where you're actually
A
going.
common thing for like really long haul travel.
Absolutely. And that time you spend waiting in that middle city for your next flight,
Yeah.
that's your layover, or sometimes called a stopover.
Layover. Right. I've heard some people actually try and make those longer on purpose.
Exactly. Some savvy travelers see it as a chance for a kind of 2-for-1 trip.
Oh, like a quick city tour?
Yeah. Explore a bit,
Yeah.
turns waiting time into a little mini adventure. It's a neat trick.
That is fascinating. So, okay, beyond the route, when you're buying the ticket, you also see different classes, right?
Flight classes, yes.
Is there like a sweet spot, something people miss, or is it just budget versus luxury?
That's a really good question. First class is obviously the top tier, most expensive, way up front,
Lots of space, fancy seats.
right? More legroom, wider seats, you feel less turbulence generally. But maybe the hidden gem for longer flights is often business class.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, it's also up front, also pricey, but you often get almost first class perks for, well, a chunk less money,
Yeah.
especially on certain routes. It's about finding that value.
Interesting.
And then, of course, there's economy class. That's the standard, most budget-friendly option, usually the main part of the plane, less leg space.
Okay, makes sense. Now, here's a practical tip. Something we picked up from one of the sources. It seems really simple but important.
Oh.
Before your departure date, call the airline.
Just to double-check everything.
Exactly. Confirm your tickets, your flights, ask about potential delays. Just make sure it's all running on schedule.
That's smart. Avoid surprises.
We heard this dialogue where someone called, confirmed, and the airline actually told them, hey, arrive 3 hours early.
3 hours. Wow. Standard advice for international, often.
Yeah, but trust me, getting there early, always, always better than rushing.
Definitely less stressful.
Okay, so flight's planned. You've called ahead. Now let's jump to the day itself. You arrive. You walk into the airport. It's bustling.
That energy, yeah.
Your first main stop is usually going to be the check-in desk.
Right. The airline's counter.
This is where you show your ticket, your ID, and this is where you check in your luggage.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And at that desk, they'll likely have you put your big bags on a scale.
To weigh them.
Yep. Check the weight. You got to be careful with those weight limits.
Right, they can charge you extra.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes quite a hefty fee if your bag's too heavy, like over 40 pounds or whatever their limit is.
Good to know.
And this is also where you sort out your different bags. You've got your check bags.
The big ones that go underneath.
Exactly. Too big for the cabin. Then your carry-on suitcase, smaller, fits in the overhead bin.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget your personal item, usually like a backpack or a purse that stays with you at your seat.
Okay. And while you're there at the check-in desk, sometimes you choose your seat then, right? if you haven't already.
Often, yes. Seat selection.
So you have to decide. Are you a window seat person, staring at the clouds?
Or maybe an aisle seat person.
Yeah.
Easy access to get up and walk around.
Right, the aisle. But corridor. And quick pronunciation tip there, it's aisle. Sounds like aisle, like an island, not aisle.
Good one. And regardless of window or aisle, after you show your ID and they take your checked bags, you get your boarding pass.
Ah, the magic ticket.
Pretty much, that's the essential document you need to actually get on the plane.
And these can be on your phone now too, right?
Oh yeah, mobile boarding passes are super common, very convenient, saves juggling paper.
Okay, boarding pass acquired. What's the next big hurdle?
The next crucial step. Security check.
Right, the screening area.
This is where they scan your luggage, your carry-on, your personal item, and you yourself, usually with X-ray machines.
All about making sure no dangerous stuff gets on board. It's quite a system when you watch it.
It really is. And there's some specific things you usually have to do based on what we saw in the dialogues.
Like what?
Okay, so you put your bags on the conveyor belt, use those plastic bins or baskets for smaller things.
Right.
Laptops almost always have to come out of the bags.
Ugh, yeah, that one.
Remove hats, shoes, take off your belt.
Empty your pockets too, right? Keys, phone.
Exactly. Keys, cell phones, any loose change, money, anything metal.
And liquids.
Ah, yeah, big one. Any water bottles need to be empty. Generally, no liquids over a certain small amount allowed through.
It can feel a bit hectic there.
It really can feel rushed.
Yeah.
But, think about the sheer volume they process. Even a small thing like someone forgetting a water bottle can cause a ripple effect, potentially delaying hundreds of people.
Wow. Didn't think of it like that. Okay, and for international flights, there's one more check sometime.
Correct. If you're flying internationally, before you officially enter the new country, you'll go through customs.
Customs. What happens there?
That's where officials check if you're bringing in anything illegal or maybe too much of something that's just for your personal use, making sure everything's above board. Got it. Okay, phew. Made it through security. Now what?
Now the trek to your gate begins.
Right, find your gate number. It's on the boarding pass.
Yep, on the boarding pass. Or look up at those big departure screens you see everywhere.
Ah, the big boards. They also tell you if the flight's on time, right? Or delayed.
Exactly. Keep an eye on those. On time, delayed, sometimes even gate changes happen.
Okay. And getting to the gate in a huge airport, that can be a journey in itself.
Oh, definitely. Airports can be massive. So you might use escalators, obviously, or those moving walkways.
The flat escalator things.
Yeah, they help you glide along, save some walking.
Nice.
And some really big airports even have internal train systems or tunnels. Like, I think Orlando's airport needs a train for some terminals.
Oh, wow.
Whereas maybe Cincinnati, you can just walk to most gates. Depends on the airport layout.
Okay, so eventually you find your gate area. What's that like?
Well, once you're near your gate, it often feels like a sort of mini mall.
Yeah. Shops and food. Totally. Lots of amenities.
Hmm.
Restaurants, we heard examples like Subway, Vino Volo, even a pizzeria.
Sounds tempting while you wait.
And mini markets. Little stores for last-minute things. But just a heads up.
It's expensive.
Generally, yeah. Food, drinks,
Mm.
that $6.10 scoop of ice cream someone mentioned. Airport prices are usually higher. You're paying for the convenience, really.
Good to remember. Okay, so you're at the gate, waiting. What about actually getting on the plane?
Right, boarding. Key thing, check your boarding time. It's usually about 30 minutes before the actual departing time.
So get there early, don't wander off too far.
Exactly. Be at the gate well before boarding starts. And boarding itself usually happens by group number.
Group number on the boarding pass again.
Yep. First class, business class passengers, they often board first. Groups 1, 2, maybe.
And economy is later.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
Economy passengers are in the later group numbers. They'll call them group by group.
Okay, makes sense. And then the gate opens. You walk down the jet bridge.
And you're on the plane.
Finally. Once you're inside, you'll see the cabin crew.
Mm-hmm. Including the flight attendants.
These are the folks who help everyone out, right?
Absolutely. They take care of passengers, answer questions, serve food and drinks.
Yeah.
They're key to the flight experience.
Speaking of food and drinks, what's typical?
Well, onboard services vary, but you'll usually have options. Sodas like, Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, Dr. Pepper maybe.
Standard stuff.
And maybe meal options, depending on the flight length. Could be chicken or meat, maybe noodles, chicken salad, sizzler rice was mentioned, coffee, tea, water, juices too.
So you need to know how to ask for what you want.
Exactly. Understanding how to communicate your choice is helpful. And during the flight, you might feel some bumps.
Ah, turbulence.
Yeah, turbulence, just the plane moving through the air. It can feel a bit shaky, maybe unsettling if you're not used to it.
But it's not dangerous?
No, it's generally not dangerous, just uncomfortable sometimes. The flight attendants will also do those safety demonstrations.
Oh, yeah, showing the seatbelts.
How to fasten seatbelts, how the oxygen masks work, where the life vests are. There's usually an aircraft safety card in the seat tucket, too.
Right. And one other thing about being on the plane, the bathrooms.
Ah, yes. Airplane bathrooms, not exactly spacious.
Known for being pretty small and cramped, yeah.
That's putting it mildly.
Okay, so you've flown, maybe had a meal, survived the turbulence.
And then that feeling when the plane lands touches down smoothly. Hopefully smoothly.
Yes. Arrival. You reached your destination. Congrats.
You made it. But it's not quite over yet. After landing, you get off the plane
Follow the signs.
and you head to baggage claim.
Baggage claim. That's the conveyor belt place.
Exactly, where you wait for your checked luggage to appear on the carousel, spot your bag, grab it.
Okay. And if it was an international flight, one last step.
One final step usually,
Right,
passport control.
right. The immigration check.
This is where police or border officials check your passport, maybe ask a question or two, and then stamp it, officially welcoming you into the country.
Okay, passport stamped, bags collected.
Then you walk out into the arrivals area.
The main hall outside security.
Yeah, outside the secure area. This is where people are waiting, maybe family, friends, or drivers,
Yeah,
for Ubers, taxis.
the journey's complete. Ready for the next adventure.
Exactly.
So, there you have it. Phew. That was a lot, but hopefully by understanding all this airport vocab, the whole process,
Yeah.
you, our listener, now feel really equipped.
Ready to navigate that next trip.
Yeah, with more confidence, more ease. We hope this deep dive was genuinely a shortcut to being well-informed for you.
You know, what's really fascinating when you think about it is how this incredibly complex dance, the whole airport thing, check into baggage claim, it's all this carefully choreographed process.
Designed to move millions of people.
Right. Which kind of makes you wonder, beyond just the words and the steps we talked about, what are the hidden systems, or maybe the human behaviors? What do you think really makes these huge places function so smoothly most of the time?
That's a great question to ponder. Something hidden beneath the surface.
Definitely food for thought.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll catch you on the next one.